It started like any other interview day. A Zoom screen, a calendar full of names, and a hopeful candidate on the other end. Except this one came with his mom. She appeared just seconds into the call. Right as I began introducing myself, she leaned into the frame, smiled, and said, "Hi, I'm his mother. Just wanted to tell you, my son is a very hard worker." I blinked. She didn't leave. She kept talking. She began listing his accomplishments, his GPA, his attention to detail, his incredible focus. I waited for the kid to step in. He didn't. I smiled politely, redirected. "Thank you, but we're here to hear from him." Still, she hovered, on camera, off camera, back again, answering questions, interrupting him mid-sentence. It was surreal. This wasn't a 15-year-old applying to a summer camp. This was a 19-year-old college freshman applying for a summer internship at a tech company. A serious role, a stepping stone, and she wouldn't let him speak. He wasn't bad. Actually, when he managed to answer, he showed some promise. He had technical knowledge, a calm presence, and he clearly knew his stuff. But the interruptions, the way she kept butting in, it was impossible to ignore. I cut the interview short. Later that day, I remember just sitting at my desk, staring at the ceiling, feeling something I didn't expect to feel. Guilt. Because I've been that kid. I've lived that life. When I was a teenager, my own mom used to call employers on my behalf. I remember being 15 and mortified as she followed up on my day camp application like it was a six-figure position. It stopped by the time I hit high school jobs, but it left a mark. And this kid looked like he was still in the thick of it. I figured that was the end of it. We didn't hire him. We had dozens of candidates. It was COVID. We were all adjusting. I moved on. A month later, I got an email from a woman, his mother. She wanted to know why her son hadn't received an offer, or at least a rejection. She seemed offended, almost accusatory, like we had wronged them. I sighed. Still, I kept it professional. I wrote back saying I couldn't share application details with anyone who wasn't the applicant himself. And then I realized something. This kid had never gotten his rejection email. It must have slipped through the cracks. Easy enough to happen, given the chaos of that early COVID hiring cycle. So I asked HR to send the standard rejection, a small gesture, just to close the loop. But the story didn't end there, not even close. Because then, she called me. She called me. She had the email in hand. Her son must have forwarded it. And she was demanding answers. Not asking. Demanding. Why wasn't he hired? Why didn't we give him a chance? What went wrong? And that was when I hit a choice point. I could stay vague. I could redirect her again. I could let this uncomfortable, absurd moment pass with corporate neutrality. But something stopped me. Maybe it was that voice in my head, 15 years old again, shrinking under the shadow of someone who couldn't let me grow. Maybe I just snapped, but calmly, carefully, professionally. I told her the truth. I said I couldn't discuss her son's performance with anyone but him. But what I could say, what she needed to hear, was that regardless of how well he did, her presence in that interview had taken him out of consideration. We were hiring someone independent, someone who could take initiative, communicate, show up for themselves, follow through. And in that interview, we never met that person. We met her. I explained that, in my entire career, every hiring manager I've ever known would react the same way. If someone answers for the applicant, if someone follows up on their behalf, If someone shows up to the interview as anything but support from afar, the resume goes in the do not hire pile, not because we're heartless, but because that behavior signals one dangerous truth. This person cannot advocate for themselves, even if they're skilled, even if they're kind, even if they're brilliant. If they cannot show us who they are alone, we cannot bring them on. And in that moment, on that call, I tried to offer her something rare, a reality check, a warning, maybe even a chance to stop sabotaging her son's future. She didn't take it well. She blew up, cursing, yelling, accusing, like I had attacked her family, like I had betrayed some unspoken agreement. I hung up. I sat there for a long time afterward, not angry, just disappointed. Not in her, not even in him, but in how often this happens. Because this wasn't just a weird Zoom moment. This was a symptom of a bigger problem, of helicopter parenting taken to the extreme, of parents who can't let go, who think they're helping, but are really stunting their kids' growth at the most critical moment of their lives. And yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Maybe I should have shut the laptop, forwarded her to HR, and walked away. But I couldn't, because I kept thinking about that kid, the one who might never know why he didn't get that internship, the one who might think he failed, when really, he never even got a fair shot to show who he was. So, am I the asshole? Was it wrong to say what no one else would? Was it out of line to confront a woman who clearly has too tight a grip on her son's future? Or was it a moment of honesty that might just change something before it's too late? That's for you to decide. Because here's the truth. This wasn't just about one internship. This was about freedom, about growth, about a young adult struggling to step out of his mother's shadow, and someone, anyone, finally shining a light. And now, a word from me, your narrator, at AITA Story Vault. If you're still listening, thank you. You know, this story hit a little deeper than most, because we've all known someone, maybe a classmate, maybe a cousin, maybe even ourselves, who had to fight for the space to grow up, who had to wrestle for autonomy from someone who loved them too much, or in the wrong way. It's easy to mock these parents. It's easy to roll our eyes at the phrase helicopter mom. But what we're really seeing is fear. Fear of letting go. Fear that the world won't be kind enough. Fear that their child won't be strong enough to stand alone. But if there's anything to take from this story, it's this. Love isn't control. Love is letting go. Letting them speak for themselves. Letting them fail. Letting them figure it out, without you in the frame. To the parents listening, you raise them, now trust them. To the young people stuck under someone else's script, you're not alone, but you have to fight for your voice. And yes, it's terrifying, but it's worth it. And to that one kid out there, maybe listening to this story without even realizing it's about someone just like him. Next time, shut the door. Lock it if you have to. Speak up. You deserve the chance to be seen as you. We want to hear your voice. This has been AITA Story Vault. Until next time, keep the stories coming and keep growing.